Now, from the WCCO Live Desk, you're watching CBS News Minnesota.
Hello, happy Wednesday morning. I'm Maria Lizignoli, and it's 10 o'clock live in the WCCO newsroom. I'm here at the Live Desk each weekday morning at this time with live updates and breaking news. Well, right now, Senate Republican leaders are set to hold a news conference to talk about plans to fight fraud in Minnesota. You can see here live at the Minnesota State Capitol. No one has yet taken the podium, but we will bring that to you live as soon as they start. Plus, Caroline Cummings is at this news conference right now, and she will join us live at 11:30 right here at the Live Desk to further explain several attempts by both parties to root out waste and fraud in the state government. She will break down exactly what is said at this news conference, which again is supposed to start in just minutes. And we'll take that to you live when it starts. But first, right now, Minnesota lawmakers are getting an update on the state's free school meals program. The pilot program last year served millions of meals and went millions of dollars over budget to do so. Now, this is an informational hearing. Lawmakers want to take a deep dive into how the program's working. And this morning, we heard from district leaders, farm to school programs, parents, and local organizations. By the numbers, of Minnesota's 870,000 eligible K-12 students, each were served about 173 meals, which totals to 150 million meals combined between breakfast and lunch. Leaders say it saved parents about $1,000 per child, but cost $267 million last year to make it happen, which is $80 million over budget. In addition to every public school district, 167 charter schools and 163 private schools and residential child care institutions also participated in the program. Only 2 public schools opted out, Prior Lake High School and Byron High School. And I just saw that state Republicans have taken the podium here at the state capitol to talk about fraud bills in our state. So I will take you now live to the state capitol.
Morning. Snuck down from the floor. Get some A+ pictures here.
All right, we are ready.
You ready? All right. Everybody's ready? Clay, you ready? All right, wonderful. Well, good morning. I'm Senator Mark Johnson, Senate Republican Caucus Leader. A couple of weeks ago, we presented a Minnesota First agenda. In that presentation, we identified waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars as a top issue for the Minnesota Senate Republicans. And we are well supported in that effort by Minnesotans. In recent polling that many of you have seen, 20% of respondents felt it should be the top priority of the Minnesota legislature to tackle this session. Minnesotans work hard, and we are caring people. But with at least $500 million in fraud over the last 6 years, we are tired of being the headlines for all the wrong reasons. We have several bill authors here today to talk about our comprehensive plan to hold government accountable, to stop the disregard for Minnesota taxpayers' dollars. I'll turn this over to Senator Coleman to talk now about our approach and how we will put Minnesotans first. Senator Coleman.
Well, good morning. My name's Julia Coleman. I represent Senate District 48. We are here before you today because unchecked waste, fraud, and abuse have been allowed to run rampant under the current administration and one-party control. A lack of accountability and little transparency with the public has been allowed to become a cultural norm under the administration, and it has led to Minnesota taxpayers being defrauded by $500 million. The governor's proposal simply shuffles the deck chairs around on the Titanic, but fails to provide any real accountability measures. Governor Walz said we need to turn the dial on fraud, but I think it's time for us to pull the fire alarm. Minnesotans have made it very clear. They expect us to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse, and implement robust prevention measures. All of our proposals accomplish what the governor has failed to do. It delivers comprehensive reforms to protect every dollar entrusted to us by Minnesotans. So kicking off a series of bills, a comprehensive approach to tackle waste, fraud, and abuse is Senator Drazkowski.
Now, we will be continuing to watch this all morning long. And like I said, Caroline Cummings is at this news conference now. She's going to join us here at the live desk at 11:30 to really further explain several attempts by both parties, including the Republicans speaking here today, to root out waste and fraud in state government. Here are your other top stories today. A woman accused of forging a ballot for her deceased mother in November's election had her first appearance in court in just the last hour. The 50-year-old is facing voter fraud charges after court documents say she signed her dead mom's signature on 2 absentee ballots. The ballots were for both her and her mother. They were received October 7th, but the complaint says her mom died August 31st. Each signature envelope includes 2 sections. One needs to be filled out by the voter and the other by the witness. You can see an example right here. And we'll continue to follow what happens today in her court hearing. Okay, we are just an hour away from crowning a new winner in Minnesota's Name a Snowplow contest. This may be becoming one of our state's favorite winter traditions, and Governor Tim Walz is set to announce the winners this morning at 11 a.m. Let's take a look at some of the top contenders. The Department of Transportation revealed 50 finalists late last month. More than 7,300 names were submitted. Okay, so some of those finalists, as you can see here on our Minnesota Sports, like Anthony Sledwards and Rudy Gobert. Skullplow is another one of them. There are also nods to celebrities like Bob Chillin, Chili Eilish, Melton John, and Notorious B.I.G. Other names include De Iceman Cometh and Hot to Snow. All right, winner is announced at 11, and you can watch who wins live right here at the live desk. Okay, speaking of snowplow, we don't have a ton of snow out there, but look at how cloudy and foggy it looks in downtown St. Paul. It's currently 2 degrees out there, and you know, it's been chilly for a long time. Let's see if this chill is going to continue with meteorologist Joseph Dames.
Honestly, I will say, I feel like recently it has really felt like winter. I mean, we had not a lot going on in January. We had some moments where it was fairly warm in December as well. So I think right now it kind of feels like it. We finally have some snowfall on the ground again, and we have more coming our direction. It's cold. Snow for us today, fairly unlikely, all right? I just don't think we're going to get a lot. Here's the snowfall potential for today. I think we get maybe a trace, potentially a little more. I'm in this ballpark right here versus a ½ an inch. I just don't think we're going to see that today, though some of you nearby have a better chance to maybe see that, all right? Where? I think southern portions of Dakota County, Goodhue County, extending down to the southwest, all right? Portions of Scott County, potentially. But I think it's more so going to be a Rochester area and extending into Wisconsin that will see the most snowfall. Traveling I-90, there will be snow on the ground and some of the other roads nearby, obviously, too. Okay, we kind of worked through the day today. That snow clears out. We open up the clouds to a clear sky by tomorrow morning, and it gets cold again, like real cold, all right? So we have a cold weather advisory in place for tomorrow morning. It starts at midnight tonight. Wind chills about 35 below is completely possible. It may be the coldest morning so far this week, and we know every morning has been very, very cold, right? Afternoon, still nice and sunny, still cold. We don't see those temperatures really warm up until we get into Friday. Friday morning starts cloudy. You see the temperatures get to about the mid-20s. And then we start noticing some snowfall with this next system. I think it arrives shortly after lunchtime, and we'll probably see steady snowfall through the afternoon into the evening. I'll pause at 6:30. Why? I'm sure you have some reservations to go out. And if you do, get ready for snow on the ground. You're going to want to dress for snow, and you're just going to want to be ready for a cold and snowy Friday evening and night. Everything is gone by the weekend. If you have weekend plans, you're just going to have some fresh snowfall on the ground. I think we could pick up maybe 2 to 3 inches on Friday, but that number is definitely going to change, all right? So we'll have updates over the next few days. So 10 to 8 to 26, that's pretty close to our average high, but then we're back down to the cold air.
All right, Joseph, thanks. New warnings about higher prices after President Donald Trump announced 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel. The U.S. imports most of its aluminum from Canada. And in Minneapolis yesterday, the Canadian consulate hosted Minnesota business leaders and government ministers from nearby Saskatchewan. Jonah Kaplan was there and will join us here at the live desk at 10:30 to break down his report. But first, experts say we're on track to see the most intense flu season the U.S. has endured in the last 15 years. Both Minnesota and Wisconsin are seeing a steep increase in cases. Mandy Gaither shares how you can avoid getting sick.
For a second time this season, flu cases are climbing. So far, the CDC estimates there have been at least 24 million flu illnesses, 310,000 hospitalizations, and 13,000 deaths, including at least 57 children.
If you look at cases overall, it's the worst in many, many years.
43 states have reported high or very high flu activity in the last week. Nationwide, more than 30% of flu tests are coming back positive, and this season you can also test for flu at home.
We weren't able to do that. You could do COVID tests in the past, but now there's a 3-in-1 flu test.
U.S. health officials recommend the annual flu vaccine for everyone 6 months and older. About 44% of adults got flu shots this winter, the same as last winter. But coverage of children is way down at about 45% this winter. It's usually around 50%. Experts say it's still not too late to get vaccinated for flu.
Now, keep in mind, if you get a vaccine, it takes about 2 weeks to actually get the immunity from the vaccine, for those antibodies to build up in your body.
To protect against all seasonal viruses, doctors say to avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth because germs can spread that way. Wash your hands with soap and water, clean frequently touched surfaces, and avoid close contact with people who are sick. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.